our native speaker, and maybe we are going to start in some ways. Maybe you have some questions and expectations of our meeting, and just let's start with your thoughts, your mind about real American accent and interesting points, maybe about pronunciation. For instance, I can give you and explain that in British English we say I can, but in American English it's more suitable to say I can't. Maybe you can share some interesting pronounce rules, or maybe absurd situation with American accent.
Without ing, we use apostrophe in American English. If we are writing some questions, we can without ing we can write in and apostrophe in the end.
Yes, I agree. So suitable meaning. Great. What else? For instance, I will add one more interesting and curious example. In school, okay, and in British English we say blueberry. Okay, do you know what I mean? But in American English it's more suitable to say blueberry. More point to the end of this word, and it's a lot of another interesting examples. In this way, sorry, I check our connection. Yeah, and Nathan will be joining just for some minutes. Please accept all this situation with internet connection and time collapse. So just right now. Okay, one more idea with American interesting.
I know it's American English. It's informal English.
More
English
informal.
from the United Kingdom is more formal.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that way, because American English try all more phrases and some another expressions, okay, to cut up, cut down, and to express something in an unusual way. And that's why in American English they often use phrasal verbs. For United Kingdom, for British English, it's not so common, but for American, it's the first using just like that. But you also will have an opportunity to ask it in Nathan. It's just like our connection. And maybe time process. Okay, yes. What do you know about this fact that Americans always are smiling? Is it suitable or not during conversation? What do you think about these positions that they are often smile and in all these? What do you think of it, guys?
I think it's the truth. Like I saw watch lots of different videos and etc., and they were smiling all the time. And I've heard some facts from the students who were living in America during their exchange year, and they shared their experience seeing lots of Americans were smiling, and it's really typical of them.
Yes, I agree. That's really typical. But what about your feelings of it? Can you maintain such approach in conversation from Americans? Vadim, please, you can add something, or Carolina.
I think that Americans have good humor. Are in good humor.
Why not? Of course. And that's
and they're smiling always.
As an explanation here, maybe just like that. Thanks for you. Carolina, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think it's really good that they admire smiling, because when I'm talking, I also like to add some jokes, and when I hear that other people are joking, so I usually smile, and yeah, it's great.
Yes, thanks for all your feedbacks. And Nathan, please show you for us and give a voice in chat. That is some problem. Timothy, Americans like short phrases and they often say words not to the end. Yes, I agree with you, Timothy, because it is meaning due to so fast work-life balance and they don't want to spend a lot of time just for saying some words. And just like that. Hello? Okay, Nathan, please give me some sound that I understand that you can say something, you hear us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nathan.
Wow,
I'm in the
great,
meeting, yeah.
finally
It's working.
we have this connection and finally we really can start our meeting and I'm be honest, I'm a little worried, so just now I give a word to Nathan. He will introduce yourself and then we go our conversation due to American accent. Nathan, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, so please start.
So as Alina said, my name is Nathan. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Right now I'm 17 and I'm going into my final year of school. So I've come to kind of give you guys some experience with speaking to a person with an American accent and how that kind of works, just to kind of look at like normal basics of conversations that you might experience. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Alina, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, it's my fault. Sorry.
The microphone was turned off.
Yeah, sorry, it's my fault. So Nathan, please pay your attention to this idea that Americans like short phrases and they often say words not to the end. Is it real?
I think, yeah, I think that could be true. But I think really with Americans, there's so many different languages within the country. Like I know a bunch of you have seen the movies like of the Southern accents, of these like New York accents. So there are really a bunch of like ways to speak American English. I think that for most, that is true. The short phrases and kind of short responses are true. But if someone's really trying to explain something to you, like I guess I am now, you're more likely to get a longer response. But when you're talking just like a quick conversation in school or maybe at an office, you are going to have like a short conversation because people want to get back to what they're doing. So yeah, you can expect.
So more benefits for short conversation, yes?
Yeah.
And what about small talk? That is also maybe like a tradition which goes in the global world about small talk tradition.
Yeah, so small talk, I think small talk mostly occurs, yeah, once again in like school or workplaces. So you are going to have small conversations so people get back to work. But yeah, they're always short. I always feel bad because they're so short. You know, it's like, did I say something wrong? Like, why did it end so quickly? But yeah, you can expect them to be short.
So nice. And to be honest, it is for me, it is really easy to understand you because really, for the first time, I expect that you are going to talk in so fast way. And I think, how students will be try to understand you and catch all words and meaning, but it's really easy to understand you.
Okay.
So that's really fine. Okay, I have one more idea. Will it possible to watch a record on YouTube or anything else? One more question, Nathan, from Timothy. Will it possible to watch a record on YouTube or anything else? Do you understand this question?
Oh, I think he was asking about the Zoom recording, right?
Yeah, I think it's more. Yeah, of course. I record our meeting. Yeah, thanks for your explanation. Yes. All these details you can see further on YouTube, of course, and I will share something with you. And thanks, Nathan, for your explanation because I just think about another things for now. Okay, so I suppose we can go further, and maybe somebody will ask something else, or maybe Nathan wants to pay attention to some real important details during conversation in American life, because I just suggest this to help our students maybe to form more correct questions in such way. What about you? What about your everyday?
My everyday, so if I'm talking with so in America, I'll say that you have like a few different types of conversations. So I would really say there are mainly two. So they're the conversations that you have with friends, like on a recurring basis. So every day or like every other day you talk to your friends, and those are more like deeper conversations, right? But then what I think is sometimes most important, because your friends know you, they're your friends, they don't really care about how you speak, or they're fine with you, they are friends with you because you're you. But there are also those conversations that you have with people that you meet on the street, people in the store, where you really just want to be nice and you want to show that you're nice. So when I have those conversations, like if I'm buying something at the grocery market, or just meeting someone on the street, I say, "Hi, how are you?" or "How's your day?" Sometimes "How are you?" is just treated as a phrase of just saying hello. Like sometimes people don't even respond; they just say hi back. But the proper way is saying, "Oh, hi, I'm good, and how are you?" And they're like, "I'm good," and you would respond, "Oh, great. I'll see you later," or "I'll see you. Have a great day."
So
Something
in
like
this
that.
way, I understand that if I if I respond on how are you, good morning, I am Helena, it will be understandable that I am a foreigner.
Yeah, no, it's you want to respond to the question, then if you want to have more conversation, then yeah, you would ask another question like, "Oh, how are you?" And oh, maybe you talk about something that they're wearing, like, "Oh, I love your shirt." And then they start telling you about their shirt, because people love talking about themselves. So you can say something like, "Oh, I love your haircut." They're like, "Oh, I just got this haircut," and then they feel very good about themselves. Maybe you just made a new friend. But those conversations I'd really keep to kind of people that you maybe never really talk to, because I don't know, maybe your friends will think it's funny if you're kind of acting like you're meeting them for the first time. But yeah, it's always a good idea to just talk to anyone you see, and people love it. And it's a really good way of seeming very nice and very kind to others.
Yeah, so kind way of starting conversation, because to be honest, for the first time when you meet with people, it's difficult to start a conversation, yes, to put the first phrases and something like that. But in this way, I think you can show the another person that, okay, we just have a small talk and then go further to our face, yes?
Yeah.
Just like that. Okay, and we have one question from Kirill. That's the next. How long have you been accustomed to the accent? Is there some problems, or just like that? For you?
To the American accents?
Yes, I think that he means like that.
Yeah, so I've spoken English my entire life. I've actually spoken a few languages, like a bit of Spanish too, but I've spoken English my entire life, and I always went to school where I was speaking English, and I was learning, like the people teaching me were speaking English. So yeah, I had it my entire life, so I always developed the accent. Yeah, I always have. So.
Okay, and just maybe for example, or for instance, just in your opinion, how it will be get a time for foreigner students to accustomed to American accent? How long time will be passed?
Personally, I've never had I never thought about it.
Try now.
I would think it's different for everyone, of course, depending on how much you speak English, but maybe for some it never really goes away. And but I think the beauty of like living somewhere where you're speaking American English instead of like British English, because if any of you guys in the meeting have tried to like speak British English, have you guys done that? I haven't. I don't know how to, but it's like it's very defined. Like there's very defined British English. It's like, you know, you say the right things.
І говорить з Англії чи з Америки, як ці англічан, вони, ну, якби слухають.
I'm sorry, it's just somebody put on their micro. You can go on.
Yeah, so the beauty about American English is that there's so many different cultures and so many different people in America that it's really undefined. Like as I was saying earlier, there's like a Southern American English, like New York American English, California American English. So really, and no one really cares about accents because of how diverse everything is. It's kind of more appealing if you have an accent, including like a Ukrainian accent, whatever, any type of accent. People really like it. And so I would say keep it. Don't try to get rid of it. It's, yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice. And I have some comments from Andrew. He has written that I'm dying how? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Got shortened to simply hi. He is shocked that this long phrase just means hi, just greetings. How you can explain it, or maybe not?
Yeah, Andrew, I think the first phrase, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. That's definitely when you're going to be talking to like a friend or like someone you haven't seen in a long time, because you're saying like, wow, like I haven't seen you in so long. It's good to see you now. Hi, you'd say to like, I don't know, someone maybe you don't really care about.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very funny, Andrew, it is.
No, I mean that it's very funny. Yes, and Nathan agree with you that it's really so funny way to express your final emotions when you finally have met somebody, okay, for a long time. Okay, the next question I see from Ksenia. Do Americans really tend to exaggerate everything when they are speaking, as it's written on the slide, or is it just a stereotype? Do you understand what she means?
So the exaggerations like, oh, like I'm addicted, instead of saying like I love and saying like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Yes,
yeah,
I put your attention to that.
Yeah, I will say some people do, but as I was saying, so Andrew said, I know he was like pointing it as a joke, but when you're saying like I'm addicted to, or I'm obsessed with, or it's so good to see you, you really have to think about what you're about to say, as well as who you're saying it to. So some terms, like if it's really not that good to see someone, you don't want to say, oh, it's so good to see you, because it's like ingenuine, it's not real. It's it's not offensive at all, but it's not really what you mean, maybe. So you would say to like a friend, I'm addicted to that one. I haven't heard as much, but you'd say, you wouldn't want to say like, oh, I'm addicted to, I don't know, I don't want to say anything bad, but like, I'm addicted to shop, or maybe you could, like, I'm addicted to shopping, or I'm addicted to, you could say like, I'm addicted to coffee, or like some food, because it's like not a real addiction. But when you're over exaggerating it, you just have to really think about like your audience, like if you're over exaggerating how much you love something about them, or like if it's good to see them. And then you also have to think about what you're saying if you're exaggerating like how much you like something. So I will say it depends.
Yes, great. So you agree that it is not a stereotype, it is real, this exaggeration in American speaking English. Great, so nice. So if I want to sound more American, I can learn by heart just these phrases and say it, and I will sound more American, or not? Or I need something more?
Yeah, I like all these phrases. I don't think there's ever like a full list, because your conversation can always change. As I was saying earlier, if you want like some outline for a conversation, I would say the best thing to do is point something out that you really like about someone. So here, if Elena, you and I, I'll give you guys the context as well for maybe like this like quick conversation, but maybe it's like, oh, I see Elena waiting in line at the market.
Yeah, one more question I have there for I have to interrupt you. And I see a question from Carolina. Do you have any tips or maybe features on how you understand that you are talking not to native speaker? So interesting.
Not, yeah. As Carolina, the biggest thing would be like,
maybe Carolina means that you have pointed previously about different dialect or different accent from states in America. Maybe she point on this way.
Yeah. So, and then do you also mean like what am I noticing when I'm like talking to a non-native speaker? That kind of shows me. Yeah. So, one thing could be like not saying very, there's a lot to English as there is to a lot of languages. And so if you're not saying the, like the very small things, maybe it could kind of show that you're not a native speaker, but honestly, that's fine. People still get your message. It's like someone speaking Russian or Ukrainian to you and saying like, I'm trying to think of something.
So curious question, yes.
Here, I'm trying to give an example of like what I can say in Russian to show you like how you would notice that it's like not a native. Sorry, give me a second. Я буду там будет. I don't know, like something like with like the tense is off, where you kind of get, I don't know, maybe you didn't get what I said, but where you kind of just, you get the meaning, but you don't, but it doesn't really sound right. I'll also say that sometimes non-native speakers are very conscious about how they speak, like they care a lot about how they're saying things, which is good. You never want to say that's the wrong thing, but you never want to be scared to say something. So I would say that as long as you're comfortable and you go out there and you talk to the best of your ability, people will welcome you with however you speak, and maybe they'll try and help you get better, or they'll compliment you on your like speaking skills, because really, if you try your hardest, people appreciate that. And some non-native speakers, I think, struggle with getting out there and just speaking to the best of their ability, because they're scared of how people look like, or how people will look at them. And I think that's just that's kind of not the best thing if you're learning a language or want to develop your skills and get out there. Just talk to the best of your ability and be confident, and maybe people won't even know. So yeah, I guess that's my best advice.
Okay, thanks. Let's view the next question. Do really Americans use abbreviations a lot in everyday speech? So do it's really Americans make a conversation just with abbreviations? Maybe it's more about speech in phone, maybe like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use abbreviation. A lot of people do use abbreviations, but really there are some things that everyone kind of knows. The biggest example I'm thinking of, instead of saying want to, like I want to buy this book, you say like I wanna buy this book. Yeah, like you kind of switch. I think American English, it's really open to like sounds. So if you say want to really fast, it's gonna kind of sound like wanna. So I think those abbreviations kind of happen naturally to people that have spoken English for a long time, but really you can get out of not saying them, or a lot of people don't, because it's kind of, abbreviations are kind of seen as maybe like unprofessional sometimes. Like wanna, if you're in a professional setting, like if you're in the office or like some workplace, you might not want to say abbreviations if you're talking to someone older, or someone older, because they might be they might look at you as a bit unprofessional. But really, I never had that experience, so I can definitely say. But yeah, use abbreviations when you're talking if it makes you sound like a bit better, if that makes sense.
Yes, it's more better to say your whole meaning and sentence than, okay, just abbreviation and you just guess, what do you mean, okay, and something like that. Okay, I check some new questions, but I think it also will be interesting for students. Using of phrasal verbs in everyday speech or speaking. Is it real, or it's maybe like just one more stereotype about phrasal verbs? Nathan?
Sorry, I think.
You don't hear me? Okay, what about using phrasal verbs?
Phrasal verbs, I'm not familiar with what that is, actually.
Sorry, somebody raised their hand. User with numbers in the name, what do you want to say or ask? 4871. Підняли руку. Do you want to ask something? Okay, that is okay in practice of speaking club. Okay, Roma. The question, I've heard somewhere that Spanish is second popular language in the USA. So do Americans have any Spanish words in American language?
Yeah, so actually, I'm learning Spanish in school, and there are a lot of similarities between Spanish, Russian, actually more with like Spanish and Russian and Ukrainian than there is with Spanish and English. But you're never really gonna say a Spanish word unless, you're never really gonna say it. No one really says Spanish words unless you're talking about something Spanish, if that makes sense. I personally never speak Spanish really outside of English. And it really depends on where you go in the United States, because I don't think a lot of states have that many Spanish speakers. Yeah. So I would say no, there aren't really any Spanish words used in American language.
So is it common for instance, to learn by Americans Spanish language like the second or maybe like a foreign language?
Yeah, so I think Spanish is the most common second language in America, probably.
Yes, really?
Yeah, at my school, that's the most kids go into learning Spanish. Our school also has like Korean and French and Japanese, but everyone just does Spanish because it is very similar. Because if you go down to like the history of languages, it's all in the same group of Latin languages, so you're not really learning a whole new thing. I'd say like one word in Spanish is like biblioteca, and of course that's the same thing as a biblioteca for library.
So
So,
nice
yeah,
pronunciation.
there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, great. So the next question, how many languages do you know?
Do I know? I know English, a bit of Spanish, and also I understand Russian, but my speaking is not the best in Russian. So yeah.
So it's so nice to know a lot, some maybe foreign languages. And for instance, in Ukraine, there is common practice if you learn not just English, maybe some German language, Poland, and some another. So is it common for Americans, school children, to learn one more foreign language? You noticed about French and Japanese, yes? No?
Mhm.
Yes, it is really common between American students, just like that. Sorry.
As children, not really. Most people begin learning other languages later in their life. So maybe like when they're in their last years of high school, they begin to learn a language, or some people learn languages after they finish any school and they go on out into their life and they feel like they need to learn a language. Honestly, I haven't seen that many people learn any like Eastern European languages. I don't know why that is, actually, but I know a lot of people, they have a hard time like learning all the letters and all the new sounds, but yeah, no one really goes into learning a lot of Eastern European ones, kind of just French and Spanish. for the most
Yes,
part.
okay. The next, before this meeting, we were told that you are of Ukrainian origin. Could you please say a few words about that?
Yeah, so both my parents are from Kyiv. They grew up together on Abalone in Kyiv. I don't know if that's like a known place, but yeah, they're from Kyiv. They came to America together in 1991, and then they had my brother and then me 14 years later in 2005. So yeah, and we've been living here.
Okay.
I've
Have
actually
you
never
any?
been back to Ukraine. I would love to go. I don't know if now is the best time to go, but I definitely would want to go to Ukraine. See it. I know it's a very beautiful place from the photos I've seen. But
Yeah, time will show us that what we can do really. And before that, I really want to ask you: have you any desires to attend Ukraine? And you asked more faster than I ask you about
yeah,
your
I'd love to.
intention. So great. So the next, not question, more propose that tell us about the pros and cons of the American school or maybe education system.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in a public school, so it's government funded in America. Another common thing. So there are actually three common schools, I'd say, that you can all choose to go into. There are public schools that are government funded, which is what I've been in that my whole life, and I've loved it. There's nothing too wrong with it that I find. There are also private schools, but those are some of them are like $40,000 a year to go to a private school, and that's like a whole wage, like living wage. But some kids go there. other kids go to religious schools. Religious schools are somewhat popular. They're like Catholic schools mainly. They're very strict, but I can talk a bit about the public schools in America. So one of the pros, I think, for me and probably all of you guys in this meeting is that American schools aren't the best with like math and science. And I know that like with Ukrainian education and a lot of like European education, those topics are really focused on. So you're going to have a very easy time with science and math because the level in American schools is kind of low. I'd say that's kind of a pro for everyone, even though you won't really be challenged in that. Another pro is that all schools, at least in Los Angeles, they offer English as a second language programs. So it's a very easy adjustment. I have a few friends that are in it, and they say that's the best way they're learning English and how to use it. For a non-native speaker,
Sorry. Just
for a non-native speaker, another pro would be your exposure to a lot of English speakers. Cons of most American public schools is that the teachers don't have a lot of time to focus on you directly because the classes are a bit bigger. It's like 30 kids and one teacher, so they can't really focus on you that much. But if you are in programs like English as a second language or any other programs that are offered at schools, they'll obviously focus on you more. And teachers, they're very caring from my experience. So they'll help you every step. They'll help you through your entire learning of English. So I guess that's a pro.
of course, I agree with that approach. And the next, what languages are learned in American schools?
So in my school, it's as I said before, Spanish is the most popular one. Because of how many Spanish speakers there are. Some of the other languages offered popularly are Korean, Japanese, and French. Those are the main ones. I don't see a lot of other European languages, not any European Eastern European languages I've seen being taught.
Okay, and have you experienced some interesting or maybe some difficulties of Americans to learn foreign languages? For instance, Ukrainian students have sometimes complained about, why it's so difficult, I can't understand, I can't remember all. Is there the same position from Americans when they learn, for instance, Spanish?
Yeah, they're, I think, at a even worse position, because I think the main thing that helps you learn a language is kind of being very eager to learn it. Eager, like you really want to learn a new language. Like all of you, I think, are very really want to learn English, and that's great. What I see in schools is a lot of kids not really wanting to learn a foreign language, so they're not putting their best effort. Also, a lot of kids, they only look at English things, like they're only watching English television shows in English. They're only talking to people that speak English, and everyone in their school speaks English. So they find it hard to switch languages from that if they've been speaking that their entire life. And I feel like in Ukraine and other countries, there's a bit more, there are a bit more languages being thrown around. Like if you guys are watching any American TV shows or any other TV shows from any other nations from Ukraine, I think TV shows are a big part of learning a new language and seeing how people speak.
Yes, that's right. So the next question will be too about school. And do you have any foreign or maybe exchange students in your school? This maybe like program like that.
Not in my school, no. Yeah, I don't have any exchange students at my school. Yeah, I don't know why that is. I always see that in the movies, but I've never experienced that, so I don't have them.
So, okay, and maybe just a few words about features of medicine in the USA, just if you know. There is question of
yeah, I believe medicine is good in the USA. I see a good amount of hospitals in Los Angeles, a good amount of care. Yeah, pharmacies are always open. All night they're open. So yeah, I think medicine is good.
you
They're
can't
always,
complain, yes?
yeah, I can't complain. But I
Yes,
also
that's
haven't seen
nice.
another.
Okay, next question from Vadim. Will you use Spanish if you meet any Mexicans, for example, to practice your skills? And will it be easy to accustom, or you can re-switch yourself easily?
Yeah, so I do use Spanish sometimes, but I will say I don't take my own advice of being confident when I speak another language. So when I do have the chance to speak it, I like if I'm most of the time I'll have a chance to speak Spanish is when I'm like at like some Mexican restaurants. So, but I will say I'm not very confident in it, and that's bad because I'm not learning how to speak it, so I never really use it. I've been trying to use it more because I realized that if I really do want to learn it, I have to start using it. But yeah, I've never really gotten the chance, and I feel bad because I was telling all of you guys to be confident with speaking English, but I wasn't myself. But I will say I'm trying to be. So as long as you're trying to be more confident with speaking it, that's better. But yeah, I've sometimes used it, I will say. And so will it be easy to custom to speaking Spanish? I think it all depends on how much you practice and how much you see a foreign language in your life. So if I'm seeing it every day, like if I'm speaking to someone that only speaks Spanish every day and I have to speak it, of course, I will accustom faster than if I wasn't. And you can switch between languages pretty easily. The languages have a lot in common, so you're not in a completely different way of speaking when you do.
Okay, what's the next? Have you ever had an experience in not understanding the other people talking to you in English, probably because of accent, or maybe another problems or ways?
Yeah, so I have, but I've never had that experience with someone that's a non-native speaker of English, because I think with you guys are all learning the way to speak English by like really carrying your message out. So you guys are saying everything that you want to say. And so I understand what you're saying. Maybe you're not saying it in the most perfect way, but I'm understanding everything and I understand the message. Most of the times when I'm not understanding someone else is when they're speaking in a very heavy, like sub-American accent. So if they're speaking in like a very heavy Southern accent and they speak like very fast, if you, I would recommend watching a video like fast Southern accents. It's crazy. It's like, I can't understand. It's like a whole nother thing. And yeah, so I've actually never had that experience with a non-native speaker. I think everyone that's a non-native speaker, they work very hard to get their message out, and all of you guys are definitely. So yeah, you guys are doing a great job at that.
Okay.
If native speaker, can I ask if native speakers
Yes, of course.
understand you? If native speakers understand you, it means that your English is good, right?
Yeah. It means your English is great. That's all you need, and everyone loves accents. So yeah.
Great. And
yeah, so.
Okay, go ahead. And the next, can you please tell us a little about your everyday life? How is your typical day? What do you like to do? Or do you have some hobbies? Just about you.
Yeah, but maybe we can use this to kind of practice your English. Do you want to, the person that asked the question, do you want to unmute yourself and ask it? Maybe we can like model a quick conversation.
Okay, so let's leave it to really maybe for the end. Really, we will give some more opportunity for students, and we are going to the next. Can you tell
okay.
pros and cons living in USA?
Yeah, I never lived anywhere else. So pros is, as I've been trying to say this entire time, it's very diverse where you live. So you're getting a lot of different cultures and a lot of different people that you're meeting, and you're eating all this different food, and it's great. I love that. I love being able to experience other people's like histories and their ethnicities. So I think that's the biggest pro of living in the United States. People are open to express their what they are, who they are, and yeah, that's very cool. Cons living in the USA, I don't have any big cons. I definitely don't have any cons that would make me move. I don't pay taxes, so maybe, I don't know, maybe once I start paying taxes, I'll have a con to speak about. But I don't know about any cons. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, we will get it.
Or maybe if I think a bit more, I'll think of cons, but nothing that I can think about now. Probably.
It's difficult to say. Okay, and Nathan from Miroslava, you have a good point that you have beautiful hairstyle.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Carolina, do you to ask one more time it, or you asked it previously? Your question.
No, it's minus one question. I actually asked lots of different questions, so
yeah. It's good. Questions are good.
No, your activity is really good, and there is a real, maybe more wider ask about is USA live in the way it's shown and described in films?
Depending on the film, definitely. Yeah, you'd have to tell me the film. I think it's all countries, they're shown and described differently in films. But I think a lot of films show true. If you want to, if you want to type in the film that you're talking about, maybe a specific one, I can tell you. But I think most of them do probably say the right thing about how it's like in the United States.
Okay, so the next, have you ever been in Ukraine?
I haven't. No, I haven't gotten the chance to go. I'm still a bit young, so my parents never wanted me to go, and I also don't like going on the plane that much. It's so I want to go soon. Maybe once I finish school, which is in a year. So. And
you can be confident that all our students and people will help you in correct English way and accent. Yeah. I really suggest about it. And how and where do you think it's best to find people to talk to in the foreign language you are trying to learn? She means that how to find maybe foreigners or native speakers to talk with them.
So while living in Ukraine, where like
I think in this way.
Yeah, so I think the speaking club is a very cool place to experience like speaking the language, but also I think a lot of times people should practice how to have those like quick conversations, like just saying like, oh, hi, how are you? How's your day? And maybe honestly, the best place to do that, I've seen a bit on like TikTok. They have like where people ask you a question, you respond, and you ask back. I think those are pretty cool. Those are the short videos. also, if you want to like watch TV shows, like English TV shows, and look at how people ask questions and maybe even like respond to it yourself, like as the character is responding, that might be a bit funny, but any of those times when you can practice like the short conversations, I think is good. I'm not a expert on like learning languages, but I would think those are very good options.
But I think it will be really useful for our students, really. Carolina, maybe please, can you say your question? It will be more interesting.
Oh, okay, sure. No, I will find. Okay, how do you usually react when non-native speakers make mistakes during the conversation? Like, do you pay a lot of attention to it, or it's just okay for you?
For me, it's perfectly fine. I never pay attention to mistakes because I'm more focused on what you're usually saying and how to come up with a response. I think a lot of people have a problem. They think a lot about what you are like, what you're saying yourself, and that becomes a problem because everyone's thinking about themselves. So you don't really have to be scared at all. I think as long as you're confident and you're like proud of making those mistakes and you're still continuing to speak, I think that's the best. And I it's always okay with me, and it is with everyone I know. So I don't think there's ever a problem with making mistakes during a conversation.
So, okay, do Americans make a mistake during conversation?
Yes, everyone definitely makes mistakes. I make mistakes. Everyone I know makes mistakes. No one really makes any big mistakes that you would laugh at, or I wouldn't think so. And even if someone laughs, they're doing it with like a good intention. Maybe you said something very funny, and you should laugh too. I mean, it's conversations are meant to be light and like not heavy, like they're not very deep things. So always have fun when you're speaking and you'll do great.
Yeah, of course, if you start to use just formal style and all formal words, it will be, in some case, it will be hilarious, okay, when you talk it with your friends in such ways, in formal style. But in some ways, it will be really difficult to understand. So we will remember it. And which advices can you give to learn English good and qualitatively?
So yeah, I've never directly taught someone English, so I wouldn't know. I think Alina would be the best to give that advice, but I would say that the best advice is to actually speak it. This is a good opportunity for me to show what speaking English kind of sounds like, but I would say maybe if you and a friend want to practice like having a normal conversation, just talking about anything, that would probably be the best, actually speaking it. So if you want to say like, give like quick introductions, I think that would be the best way to learn, just like practicing it.
Okay, in one meeting, I have heard that somebody used such approach in practicing speaking English when they speak to yourself, just before the mirror or maybe on the phone. Is it real useful for them or not? How do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely useful. The only thing I can think about with that is you're not going to get, you already know what you're about to say, right? When you're speaking to someone else, you never know what they're going to say. So, and that's how it is kind of in the real world when you are speaking to someone. So I think that is definitely a good way, but the best way is to speak to just someone else. So like a friend, I think would probably be the best.
Yeah,
where you both aren't, someone that you're not like embarrassed next to, or they want to, or where you both want to learn, I think is the best.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. And the next, what social networks and other apps are popular in America nowadays? Maybe from your preferences.
I think it's mostly, it's like Instagram, I'd say, and like TikTok are definitely the most popular.
Of course. What about Twitter?
Twitter, most kids my age, I'm 17, don't use Twitter. I think that's more for a bit like older, at least in America. That's just from what I know. Yeah, Twitter is not that popular with my age group.
Okay, and what about apps or maybe some computer games?
I think it's different everywhere you go, but I think it's like Clash of Clans or like Clash Royale. I know those are popular probably around the whole world, but yeah, those are probably the best.
Maybe CS:GO.
Yeah, definitely all those games like Fortnite, whatever. And if you ever meet someone that's like your age, talk about it. They'll probably love to talk about CS:GO or Instagram or whatever.
So if I understand, you can find some friends to practice speaking due to computer games and chat.
Yeah. Definitely,
Like
if you're ever in school, that's a good thing to talk about. People love talking about that.
Yeah, great. Which places you can advise to visit in USA? Maybe especially in California or like that.
Yeah, so I live in California, and I think it's probably the best place to visit because you have so much you have so many different things. I live in Los Angeles, and around Los Angeles it's pretty cool, but if you go to like San Francisco area, Santa Barbara, those are smaller. Santa Barbara is a smaller city, but those are very cool. The nature is just very amazing. All the mountains, the ocean is very beautiful. And I think that's a very good place to visit. I know a lot of people visit New York. I think it's a bit very like, there's a lot going on in New York. So it's definitely a cool place to see, but I'd advise to visit probably both are the big places to go.
Okay, the next, what kinds of sports are popular in America?
So definitely most popular, I think, is definitely like football or basketball. But there are large like there are people that are fans for everything. Like there are a lot of people that love soccer, a lot of people that love other sports. There are a bunch of random sports that I've like no one has even heard of that people like. But in Los Angeles, yeah, a lot of people love soccer because or football. Oh, it's soccer. I'll say soccer. Because there are two soccer teams here. A lot of people like it, and that's also a very good thing to talk about sports. Like, what's your favorite like soccer team? Definitely good.
What about jogging?
Sorry?
What about jogging?
Jogging?
Okay, yes, we really see a lot of scenes with jogging. What about real life?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people do jog. I don't, but maybe I should. Maybe it's very good for you, but I don't jog. A lot of people do. I don't think a lot of people talk about it. Maybe it's not really something they talk about, but that is popular. A lot of people do that for health. Yeah.
Okay, so we maintain this fact from films which get about America, jogging and America in the morning.
No, Alexandra, it is a big con. It is a big problem. I didn't think about it, but yeah, for the way you put in chat. But yeah.
Okay, do you mean about the next question? What do you mean? Because our next question about school bad accidents, and I don't know if it is suitable to talk about it. So maybe just a few words of your opinion about this bad situation in schools, just like that.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing to kind of like take away from it, if you're like from a foreigner standpoint, is kind of like just the division of like people's ideas on these sort of things. Like after all these things are happening, or after all these things happen, a lot of people are divided on what should happen. So like if they should ban all of these like tools that are used in these incidents, or if they should keep and increase them actually, which I think isn't like a very good outlook to increase weapons, but I think that's pretty stupid. But those divisions, a lot of them come from kind of just what America is. Like people always go against, and I think it shows you a lot about just a lot about what America is, about like people divided on opinions, which is sad, but it's true. It's something to know.
And maybe we have found one cons of USA, or not cons, minus of USA.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like that. Okay, and it's really interesting question. Is there any difference between soccer and football?
Yeah, so football, I guess American football is the one where people throw a ball and they try and get it to the other side of the field. It's not a goal, it's just like an area that they have to run through, and I don't like it. I never really watch. I think it's a bit funny because it's like very like big, like tall, like muscular, like men like trying to like fight each other for like a ball. It's kind of funny to watch, but yeah, it's like you can search it up, like American football. It's a completely different sport, kind of with the same concept, but different idea.
Okay, is the USA a really good place to study because you have a lot of popular school and university and some programs just like that?
Yeah, so I think the USA is a good place. Los Angeles, where I am, for like lower education, so not universities, it's a good place. The Los Angeles school district, it's like the second biggest school district, but I think it's very good. The teachers are very good. But on universities, I think universities are good in America, but they're good everywhere. From what I've seen, most European universities, they focus on like technical skills, or like skills where you use mostly your hands to do things, where like mechanic, like fixing cars, electrician, plumbing. In a lot of universities in America, however, are focused on like humanities, which is like art and language, and they're focused on like thinking differently more than like using your hands, which is they both have their benefits, and it really depends on what you want to do. Yeah.
Okay, yes, it's a really useful tips for them. And what about music? Do you listen to music?
Yeah, I listen to music. I listen to everything. I think the only person though I recognize on this list is All Star. I think that's like the popular one, right? I might be wrong, but it's, yeah, if that's the really popular song, I know it. Everyone listens to every type of music. Yeah. I like Spanish music. I think listening to it kind of helps me understand it more and like get accustomed to someone speaking it to me. But I like all types of music, and yeah, everyone does. That's
Concert
also
from Farruko?
who?
Farruko.
I don't know who that is.
Ah, okay. It's a Puerto Rican rapper.
Oh, Korean. Maybe I'll look it up. I'll write it down.
And have you recognized Jonel All-Star?
I don't think I do actually. If that's the full name, I don't. What type of music does he make?
Reggaeton.
Reggaeton. I don't.
Trap.
Yeah. I'll write that down too.
Bandido with Mike Towers. It has 5 No, not 500 millions of
Million. Wow, that's a lot.
millions of reproductions in
Wow.
in charts. It is very popular song.
Yeah. Do a lot of people listen to it in Ukraine? Or just you, really?
Especially my favorite artist is Junior Star.
Okay. I'll look at it. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah. Thank you.
New kind of music for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, a lot of people talk about music. In like, if we're talking about like conversations, a lot of people, yeah, they talk about music, sports, what you're wearing, like clothing, and literally anything that you like, TV shows, movies. Those are all popular.
Yes,
conversations.
yes, it's so popular. Okay. And do you know about Rockstar Company and their games?
Oh, yeah, I am familiar with Rockstar. Yeah, their games are very popular in the US. Like, yeah, a lot of people play them. GTA, yeah.
Okay, so really, computer games can combine the whole giant world
Yeah.
together.
I will
Okay.
say, yeah, be
Yeah,
careful
please.
with who you talk about. Computer games too. Like older people probably don't play as many, but definitely like younger people, that's a great thing to talk about. They'll talk about it forever.
Yes,
Yeah.
kind of fun. Do you know any programs to study for free in America's universities? Or is it possible?
Yeah, so actually each university, I think every single university in America, they have free programs where you can get scholarships to study in them. So you can apply for these scholarships, and sometimes the best universities in the country, they give you full scholarships, so you can live on the campus, eat and study, and they pay for everything. They pay like $90,000 a year for you to come and study. But yeah, most schools have very large scholarships where you can study for free. Aside from that, there are like community colleges within cities, which are also very good. They a lot of cities put a lot of effort into making them very good. It's like city colleges, and those are another good option. And you can definitely find free programs there, but I think they're definitely the cheapest option, if not free. Yeah.
Okay, but it means that foreign students have the opportunity, and it is really worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What fast food company popular in America? Of course, we have such question.
Yeah, so I think all of them. I think like McDonald's is popular. What's popular in Los Angeles, like very popular, is In-N-Out. If anyone has heard of it, it's like the one with like the palm trees. It's the one that's only in like the west side of America. In-N-Out is very popular. McDonald's, I know with everyone, is popular. All of them, any fast food place that you see.
Okay, so Miroslava has a question. How did you invite Nathan to English speaking club? And I think it really flows from Nathan, because he suggested this idea to join to our English speaking club, and that's why I can't miss this opportunity to work together. Really, Nathan, it's your desire.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys what it's like.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's really good. So the next real interesting question, and maybe I suppose we will end with our meeting, okay? And have you heard any maybe interesting or facts about Ukraine, or how do you imagine Ukraine?
Yeah, that is a very cool question. Interesting facts. I might be wrong, but I heard that Ukraine's older than Russia. It's one of the oldest city in like Eastern Europe. If I might be totally wrong, but or Kiev is like the oldest city in Europe. I might be wrong, but I heard about that. I heard about the beauty of everything, and also like I think like there's like a whole culture in Ukraine that people don't really look at least in America. People or definitely like a year ago they would think that that Ukraine, it is one of the oldest cities, yeah, that Ukraine was like the same thing as Russia, which is kind of like not the best thing to think, but there's just so much to Ukraine that I don't know yet, and I want to look at. I think of it as a very cool place. For some reason, I think about it as like sunny, like a lot of sunlight. That might be wrong. It might be very cold, but yeah, I think like a lot of farmland. The people are very nice. The food is very good, and yeah, it's a good place all around.
I can't agree with you, and I suppose for one meeting our students will share a lot of thoughts and advantages of Ukraine with you. We will dedicate the whole topic for it, and we will compare it with LA, with USA, and say all preferences and advantages. Not as much sunlight as in LA, unfortunately. Yes, really, we don't have enough sunlight, but I suggest it have some preferences, by the way. Do you like Ukrainian culture? Girls eat city, something more? More. Okay, let's end with this question. Yes, you can ask.
I'll talk about the food. I love the food that my parents cook. My parents cook like plov. I know that's not very Ukrainian. That's more like Uzbekistan, right? Plov.
Yes, it's more.
Котлеты, борщ, bouillon. I love it all. But there aren't actually that many good places that sell pelmeni here, but in Los Angeles. But I've had it once. A very good place that sells pelmeni, but
It sounds so nice from you, really.
yeah.
Okay, and some another idea. Treatments from Ukraine in chat, of course. So are there any, did you eat borscht?
Yeah. My mom makes probably like once every 2 weeks. If we're lucky, she makes it once every 2 weeks.
It's so
And yeah,
nice.
it's very good.
It's really so nice.
Yeah, very nice. Very good to eat.
So you have some more comments. Ethan is so handsome. Just for you. Yes, we are so culture. And as I see, our time is end up. And we really have to end up. And 1 minute, I have to share with you some questionnaire about it in chat. And maybe Nathan, you can share something interesting and useful with our students and say one more as I send this.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 minute. I will offer for students to do this link which I sent in chat, and due to Nathan continue his speech. In chat one form. We make this form to know if you want to continue such meetings with us, with Nathan, and of course to improve then your conversation skills, because for these speaking clubs I let our students just to write questions in chat, but they are shy. Okay, that is okay. Yeah. And I really suppose for the next meetings we have a good conversation. I know that all participants can share their thoughts. We will choose more suitable topic, okay, to discuss, and we will learn some useful real tips for to make a conversation. Okay, yeah. Today it's more like a Nathan's speech and asking questions. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'll say I had a very good time. The time went by very quickly for me. Even though it was 4 a.m. here when I started, but no, I think it's very cool to see everyone wanting to learn English with like so interested in learning English. I think that's really great. I think all of you, from what I heard you guys typing in the chat and speaking, are doing a great job and are really good at like putting what you want to say and saying it. I'd say, as I said before, don't worry about how your actual speaking comes across. Like if you have any mistakes or anything, just always remain always remain confident with what you're saying, and people in America will welcome you. They'll love it. They love accents. So keep it all. Yeah, if over your time, when not in a speaking club or not like doing anything for English, try and speak it. There are a lot of resources, probably like on TikTok, even just sitting down with like a friend and trying to have like a conversation, like, hi, how are you? Like saying, oh, I love your shirt, or where did you get your shirt from? Or what's your favorite TV show? Who's your favorite soccer team? And then starting to talk about that and asking those types of questions and trying those conversations, I think would be really great for all of you. Yeah, if any of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys have been to America, but I'd say come to Los Angeles, come to actually specifically West Hollywood. It's close to Hollywood, but West Hollywood it's where all the like Ukrainian people are, all the Russian people are. Well, most Ukrainian people are. It has all the Ukrainian markets. You'll eat food that you remember if you miss it at all. Yeah, a lot of cool restaurants.
Well, so nice. And some suggestion just for you. 4 a.m. is not fair on Nathan. Should switch to more suitable time.
I'm fine. It's not too early. I wake up at like 7 anyway. It's fine with me. It's a good way to start my day.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a suggestion, but maybe we will really something change. We will go further. It really depends on your activity. If you want to continue our meetings, our work, of course, we will choose more suitable time and just more interesting way just for us. And thank you very much, guys, for organizing this meeting, for all the advices and spending your time. I enjoy it. So a lot of great feedbacks, and maybe I reckon it means that we have to talk about our further speaking meeting or just like that. How do you think, Nathan?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it more.
And definitely we will engage students to speak, not just to write questions in chat. Of course, we will engage students for speak because it's really useful for them, by the way. To try themselves, to hear how they sound, okay, just for you to understand how we can express our minds. And in some ways, there are a lot of different points of view, just of simple things. Okay, and so just for this time, we have to say goodbye. More better to the next meeting. It's more positive way. Yes. I have maybe some internet connection. What in chat? Thank you for this meeting. I learned a lot of interesting facts about USA. Of course, we are going further. Thank you. Thanks for meeting.
Thank
bye,
you all.
bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
being part of the club. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Have a good day and evening. Okay.
You too, thanks.
Is there? No?
Be nice, Fima.
Okay, all greetings to the end. So, and I will finish our meeting. And Nathan, really thanks for your attention and your readiness to answer mostly for all questions. Yes, it's really so strong from you.
All right. Thank you. It was great.
Let's see ya. Bye.